This is FX Medicine. I'm Andrew Whitfield Cook, and we're at the 2017 United in Compassion Symposium. I'm talking with Helen, who is a volunteer for UIC, but also a patient. Helen, take us through your story, please.
So my story is, I, for the last 20, 30 years, have had fibromyalgia, which is a chronic pain condition. I mostly experience muscle spasms. I've also developed nerve pain in the last 10 years. I also have had spinal crush fractures, injured my back, broke my back falling off a horse when I was younger. I also have, 20 years ago, was diagnosed with severe osteoporosis, so I tend to break bones. But it's mostly the muscle spasms. So I've had crush fractures in my spine, which then have caused muscular changes and things like that. I have a circulatory disorder called Raynaud's, which can cause pain in the hands, but it's mostly, I was diagnosed 20 years ago with chronic pain and went through all the different drugs, Vioxx, Celebrex, opiate patches, Tramadol, etc. They offered Endone, etc. Told you must be depressed. Went to the pain clinic, everybody but me was on lots of medication. So I just became stoked because I had such a severe reaction to the medications.
I'm glad you got off Vioxx.
Yes. Oh no, all of them, even Tramadol slow release. I had 24 hours. I thought, oh, the pain's so much better. And then it's the worst abdominal cramps I've ever had.
Really?
And the opiates just didn't work.
What about side effects?
Terrible side effects. Nausea, constipation, abdominal pains, insomnia, et cetera, and they didn't work.
Yeah.
I might have been sold if they had worked. And so more than 10 years ago, I was seeing Wrigley, a pain specialist, and he was encouraging me to go on the disability pension. I was teaching, I was in education, and I left partially because of of the pain and problems. I said, no, I won't qualify for the disability pension, and I did qualify, but I've kept working since then and worked in health education. But he recommended, he said, you're from the baby boomer generation. He says, you know about marijuana, get some marijuana. And I went, oh no, I never used it. Yes, my rehab pain specialist.
Wow.
Unusual man. He had just been to court where I live for a woman with multiple sclerosis who was wheelchair bound and really, really suffering. So I said, look, I wouldn't even know where to get it, I'm worried about getting high, et cetera, et cetera. And I was about to take a trip, he knew, I'm from California originally, to the States. And he said, look, I'll do up a whole letter about all your conditions and ineffective pain control and go see a doctor there. You'll find a doctor dispensary. So I did that, and I was given a little bottle of tincture. And he said, this is specifically for fibromyalgia and things, and said, only take 2 drops. No, I thought, is this placebo effect? My mind's going to think it's great. And after an hour, if it hasn't worked, take another drop. And I'd been traveling, so I was experiencing, pain on a level of 1 to 10, about level 8 pain, pretty significant pain. Wasn't sleeping well. That's another side effect, chronic pain. So I was staying with a family member. I went back. I put 2 drops under my tongue, followed the instructions. After about half hour, 45 minutes, I thought, this isn't working. I'll take another drop, And then a family member who was with me said, are you feeling better? You look relaxed. And I thought, oh my God, my pain has gone from a level 8 to a level 2. It's hardly existent.
Wow.
I haven't had this kind of pain relief ever. So I was sold. And I didn't have side effects. I didn't get high or whatever. So if I go to America, I have pain relief. If I'm here, I don't.
So this is a real issue of access. I just want to touch firstly about your opinion of cannabis prior to trying it. It was like, I don't want to touch that sort of thing.
Well,
why?
Prior to trying it, I was at university in the 60s, and people would experiment with not only cannabis, but LSD, cocaine, mescaline, it was like they have, get turned on, get stoned. And I just thought, I didn't even really drink much, I wasn't really interested. And I got into meditation and yoga and more healthy lifestyle. Because I try to keep thinking, if I try this diet or that, I also have fibromyalgia, get irritable bowel syndrome and things like that. So I didn't have terrible negative attitude because I'd seen it didn't really harm people a lot, less than alcohol. But it wasn't something that I'd really ever. I was like the President Bill Clinton. I pretend to
I didn't
inhale
inhale.
twice at parties. No, I inhaled twice, but didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So, and I have tried smoking it, but I don't like smoking or water, and it does help. If there could be, I've tried like the vaporizing, that's very, very good.
Okay.
But I know certain dispensaries in California, they make specific products for muscle spasm, fibromyalgia, nerve pain, and the formula that I get, it's like a magic wand. I've never seen a drug like that without side effects. I don't get high, I sleep better, and as the last woman you're talking to, if you have chronic and severe pain, like friends of mine, they can just tell you change,
Yeah.
you don't sleep well, et cetera,
So what about access in Australia? What are the frustrations?
It's practically nil access. There are people who will sell.
But there are people saying you can get access. You just need the papers to be filled out, and it's the doctors not filling out the forms correctly.
Well, I've asked doctors, and I've been told, oh, cannabis can cause, mental health issues. We don't know anything about it. There's been no studies, which isn't true, I know now, because I've read hundreds of studies. And one of the things I found out recently through a friend of mine who's a doctor in America is certain of the cannabinoids can improve bone fracture healing, bone density. Doesn't every older person with osteoporosis want that? What I found is, because up until recently I always worked part-time since I've been on the disability pension, I'm on the age pension, is every other person I talk to, say, has a grandchild with epilepsy, has a friend of mine, her husband was allergic to opiates and had a shoulder surgery. So, and people try making it themselves, but it's you don't know what you're getting, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And sometimes cannabis recreational is laced with things, and what we need in Australia are, until we can access products, to bring in those reputable products from, say, the United States at a reasonable cost, not like Sativa, which is a natural product, but who has thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I mean, if I could access and import the tincture that I know works, I'd be very, very, very happy. But so if I go to America, if I go for a month, I have a month pain-free. If I come back here, I do everything that I do, which is I walk a lot and hydrotherapy, and I basically suffer and struggle.
But you have your pain because of the
I
situation
suffer.
of access to medical cannabis in Australia.
That's right. Yeah.
That's diabolical.
It is it's very disappointing. It makes me think about maybe moving back overseas, but I don't want to because I have commitments here and a house here and things like that. But the other thing that I do find is that doctors, even who are favorable, they don't have the information, which is why this seminar was so important, and Dr. David Caldecott doing a training for doctors. Yes. And I know how much Lucy and Lou Haslam have sacrificed, not only their son dying, but to be able to educate the public.
Yeah.
And we need to, this symposium like this, some of the people come, we're preaching to the converted. So when you have doctors and people can be educated, and to know that all the speakers are online. But I've found that, like I said, interesting, I helped out a nurses' convention last year in Sydney. I helped Lucy with that. The nurses overwhelmingly, 90% were in favor and knew the information because they work on the ground with the doctors.
Yeah.
But for me, it has become quite diabolical because I'm getting older now, and then conditions like fibromyalgia don't improve.
No, that's
Osteoporosis doesn't improve. Nerve pain. And
so there's a real need, isn't there? Yeah.
Yes. For me and for, I'd say, thousands and thousands of people.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands, yes.
Helen, thanks so much for telling your story and joining us on
welcome.
FX Medicine and at UIC.
Thank you.
This is FX Medicine. I'm Andrew Whitfield Cook.